reached out to them, and so there I was. So I've been at Brain now for just barely over a year.
Well, you started in March of 2020, and I was thinking to myself, wow, what a great month to start.
Yeah, no, it was so I started, March 1st or 2nd, whatever it was. That Monday was my first official day, and then I was there for 2 weeks of onboarding, and I
And
flew
then,
home on March 13th, and that was like when everything shut down, everything,
yeah.
that all started. And because I was coming from California, of course, my wife, she worries with the best of them, about things, and very comprehensive, on the concern level for things. And she said, "Hey, you're coming from California. That's a hot spot. You got to go to the hotel." So she made me quarantine actually for 4 days in the hotel when I came home.
Are you serious? Wow.
It was
Holy
brand new.
cow.
It was brand new, and
Yeah.
everybody was like
Wow.
scared about it. And I had
Yeah.
just met a bunch of folks that had come back from this huge trade show in Atlanta. And
Okay.
so, so I had been, and then there were a couple of guys from Australia that had come, and there was a guy from China that was there. So she's like, "Don't take any chances."
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's a crazy time for you to start. And then you were probably thinking, oh shit. Okay. What's going to happen here? Are they going to, I just took this
But
job. Then they're going to decide they don't need this VP. And then, but I guess,
yeah.
I guess so tell us what you're
So
doing there. What is your,
well,
or do you want to give like a little bit of a company overview and then roll that
yeah.
into what your role is? Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So Brain Corp's a very unique company. Um, we create the software that we put on existing hardware to make it automated,
Okay.
right? And so a lot of companies will say, well, we want to make an automated X or an automated Y, right? So whether that's, automation and logistics is huge right now, material handling, things like that. So there's automated forklifts and automated pallet jacks. There's automated delivery robots. So when we say, there's all those types of things, but a lot of it's full stack, or
Okay.
there's an ODM, original design manufacturer, right? Where the software company or the design, they'll say, well, we need the machine to be built like this, full stack, right? So
Okay.
hardware, software together.
Okay.
And Brain said, well, if we're going to make something automated, we may not be the expert in this type of machine or this type of equipment. So why would we want to try to build
Yep.
something that we're not experts in?
Yep.
We're experts in software. That's what we're
Yep.
going to do. And then we're going to work with top tier OEMs to automate. So if so kind of like if you want to make a self-driving car,
Mm-hmm.
you could build a car, but why would you maybe not say, well, why don't we just go work with some of
Mm-hmm.
the best car manufacturers who are
Yep.
experts in cars, experts in, regulations for safety, and experts in airbags, and experts in, you know, turn signals and motors and engines. We'll just make the software to make sure it's automated
Mm-hmm.
safely. So that's the approach we've taken. And so Brain was actually a very large competitor of mine, when
I
I
see.
worked at Intellibot.
I
So
see.
so so the job before Cloud Mines, and I worked there for 5 years. So Brain was our number one competitor, because their first foray into automation was in the cleaning space. And you might say, okay, why would it be cleaning space, professional cleaning? And if you've ever been to a large retail store or a DIY store, and you've probably seen the guy either sometimes middle day, but a lot of times late at night, walking up and down the aisle with the big scrubber machine,
Yep.
it's called an auto scrubber or a scrubber dryer,
Mm-hmm.
scrubbing
Mm-hmm.
the floor. Well, the first thing we started automating at Brain was those things.
Okay.
And the reason is because, it's a very manual task, it's a very
Mm-hmm.
repetitive task, and
Mm-hmm.
it can something that can be automated fairly simple. And there's a lot of it, right? So it's a huge industry.
Yep.
So that's where we started, and now we're growing those platforms. So now we have 6 or 7 OEM partners in the professional cleaning space. So there's a range of machines that an end user can choose from that all have Brain OS on that. And then we have some material handling partners now, a couple of those that we're growing out with, and we're looking into the future for things like security robots or delivery robots. So if you're in a hotel and the robot comes up to the elevator and drops off your food your room service
Okay.
order to you, things like that. And we're looking at things like shelf scanning, so inventory management. So something that would go up and down aisles and scan the aisles and say, okay, you're out of this, for large retailers. So our core right now is retail, and we're building up the cleaning, and now building up. So we have contracts with Walmart and Kroger's, for example.
I gotcha.
Schnucks, Menards. So quite a few large retailers, and that's all public information. I mean, we've announced that.
Are they targeting people who are they targeting the machines? I'll just call them machines, I guess. Are they targeting machines that are already built and you're stacking the software on there, or sometimes now are you working with the manufacturer to create it from the beginning, and they're saying, hey, we'll build the hardware, you build the brain, let's do it together.
We don't retrofit. It's not a retrofit.
Okay.
So
Okay.
So we'll actually, it usually takes about 18 months of collaboration to say, okay, how, and it might be an existing machine they already have, or it could be a new machine that they design to put our kit on. But we have a hardware kit that we have designed, and we work with their engineers to say, okay, build your machine 99% the same as you've already built it before, but we're going to have this hardware kit on that kind of has a control module and a computer in there, and some sensors and things like that, and then that tells the machine what to do.
I saw the machine online on the YouTube channel for Brain Corp, where if you're in retail, you stack a bunch of product on a not a pallet jack, but I don't know what it's called.
We call it a tug, but yeah.
A tug. Yeah, a tug. You stack a bunch of product on there, and then you press a button, and then it takes it all out to the aisle or the location of the store where then the person can stock the shelves.
That's right.
So that's an example. Is that when you say a contract with, who'd you say, Target, and who else?
Walmart and Kroger's.
Yeah. So are they using those? Is that a big purchase? Okay, I see.
So cleaning is our kind of bread and butter right now. The professional cleaning services. That's where we started, and so now we're we've got a little bit more than 15,000 robots running every day in the world, and most of those are cleaning robots. But we just now started to do the material handling. It's what we call tugs.
Can you stack this software on the buggies for grocery stores so that when you take your groceries out to the car, the buggy just goes back to where it's supposed to go by itself?
It probably could be done at some point, but not right. There's all, anytime you get outdoors, so outside of the building, you introduce a lot more variables, and so and you have a lot less. It reads, the sensors, whether it's the cameras or the LiDAR, which is light, distance, and ranging. So it's kind of like sonar, but LiDAR, right? So sonar uses sound, LiDAR uses light or vision. Those sensors have to read off of surfaces, vertical surfaces, and the floor, but typically vertical surfaces to what's called localize, or in robot speak, know where it's at, and then make a decision on how to navigate. And so when you get outdoors, if you're in the middle of a parking lot and you have nothing to see, or you have cars that change all the time because the cars are never going to be in the same parking spots, it gets a little more difficult, So I'm sure at some point, that can happen. But right now we stay indoor. So we actually are the number one in deployed autonomous robot in indoor public spaces.
Public spaces.
Indoor is what we look at.
Okay, and it's braincorp.com, braincorp.com. And what is your specific role, or who are you who's Joe closing deals with? Are you tell me about your role.
So my role is channel support and development. And so I'm a little bit sales. I mean, technically I'm on the sales team, but really what I do is identify and help activate channel partners and help our OEMs, support our OEMs in penetrating new verticals and new sectors, and unlocking new channels, like distributor partners or reseller partners. So right now we've got really nice penetration into the retail sector with cleaning robotics. Now what we're trying to do is branch out, and so two of my focus areas are education, K through 12, also higher ed, but there's 4,500 universities in the United States. There are 130,000 K through 12 schools in the United States. So just by nature, you're looking at,
What are you
a lot,
selling? Are you selling them the cleaning stuff too for the
the
floors
cleaning
and stuff like
stuff.
that?
Right.
Mm,
And so
mm,
and then also hospitals,
mm.
healthcare, typically hospitals, not small acute care or surgery centers. It's too small. So to really make the ROI work, for something like this, you need 100,000, 200,000 square feet of space, where you're cleaning, 2, 3, 4 hours a night, so imagine the size of a large retail store. You need that size of a building, or that much floor space anyways, to clean.
When you sell to a school, are you selling to the district, who are you calling? I'm just curious. Like what title or what person are you trying to like get on the phone?
So typically the decisions, they have an operations department typically,
Okay. Okay.
or an environmental services department or a janitorial department. So it depends what they call it, but typically it would be called either janitorial or operations, and they might be the ones that typically make a recommendation, or say, look, this is the type of equipment and the type of processes that we want to use. But usually it's governed at a district level on,
District level.
okay, so we need to sanitize the desks so often. Like, so the scope of work is really determined in conjunction between like the district and the school board and the janitorial team. Sometimes, and a lot of times in school districts, especially in the past, they self-perform their cleaning services. There
Really?
has been, so the janitor that works in the school is employed by the school. He's an employee of
By the school district or by the town, or how does that work? I don't know.
Yeah, typically if it's a public school, it'd be a government employee, right?
Okay.
But it's by the district. It's employed by the district.
By the
But in
district.
the last 15, 20 years, there has been a shift to outsource. So
I
there's
see.
large companies called building service contractors, BSCs. I used to be a BSC in a past life. I worked for BSC for 12 years. So I understand that piece of the business quite well.
Yeah.
My first job out of college when I was 23 was, driving around and making sure toilets were clean.
I remember that.
So we when we're looking at, trying to move into a school or help the school, it's easy for the school to see the value, because not only is it just about making sure the floor's clean, but it's also about making sure that the environment, for their students and teachers
Gotcha.
is healthy.
Gotcha.
And what it does is, and it typically in a lot of school districts, they're at this point, they're under budget, or they're over budget. They don't have enough money, right? And it's tough to find help. And so what we're able to do is say, hey, look, we can put this cleaning machine in here. You can take the gentleman or the lady who was scrubbing the floor before, and now you can reallocate that labor to do more important high function tasks, such as disinfecting high touch surfaces, disinfecting desks, cleaning the restrooms more frequently. So all the things that are important anyways, but now, especially in the age of COVID, that's a big win. So it's not just about having cleaner floors. It's about reallocating that labor to do more, without having to, if you don't have the money to hire more, right? So
if you think today's tip or guest interview can help someone you know, please share this with them. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviewing. You can visit riderflex.com to learn more about us and get information and pricing on the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great day.